horror. Bengals with the headdresses. I'm wearing fedoras. Stars on the track, can't hold us at the Mora. I'm a Captain Kirk, yeah, she my Aurora. We communicate G4 to the border. She prices to me, that's why you can't afford her, yeah. Sexy. She know I throw it in the bag for her. Just do the same thing for me. It's just you and me, girl. You and me. It's just you and me. You and me. You and me. It's just you and me. You and me. It's just you and me. You and me. You and me.
What's going on? This is Wacko Willie down at Weapons World and Ammo Unlimited, telling you to listen to the Queen Silvy Show. Yeah, if you come in and mention the Queen Silvy Show this weekend, we'll throw in 3 high-capacity clips with your new assault weapon. That's right, 3 high-capacity clips. You're gonna love it, shoot. Anyhow, don't forget, Wacko Willie tells you, Weapons World and Ammo Unlimited loves the Queen Silvy Show.
Welcome to the Queen Silvy Show. Tune in at 11, good laugh, good vibe, that's for sure. Get smooth with Tim, get smooth with Tim. They have you running like you popped the pill. Once you hear the show, you ain't gonna want it to end. Get creative with the sounds you can make with your mouth. Reaching all over the world, Queen Silvy in the house. Award-winning show with the #1 spot, look out. It's the Queen Silvy Show. 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 Look out.
Look out. That's right. It's the Queen Silvy Show here to make your Tuesday terrific, bringing you the best in live entertainment, talents, and topics from around the world just for you. The first hour of the show, I had a great conversation with the true queen. Lioness Tulane is her name. Follow her on Facebook, on Instagram, and as matter of fact, just Google her. She has a lot of things, a lot of projects going on. She's a driven, determined girl, making a difference and paving the way for our youth and our future. Because, you know, to me right now, grinding, you know, I learned those new words. I'm trying to be hip. Grinding, you know, but entrepreneurship, making a difference for yourself, because if opportunity doesn't knock, hey, you got to create that door yourself. You got to get out there and do it. And this girl is doing it. Matter of fact, don't catch her bored. I don't think she's ever bored. If she is bored, well, she'll have a shopping complex filled with businesses, just all doing her own thing. But Lioness Tulane is her name, and you need to follow her, as well as get in touch with yourself and make someone's day, if not yourself, with some of the great products and gifts she has on her online store. 7,000 Hours Art Store is it, where you will find the retro 7000s as well as the BLM 7s, which is some hot new shoes, the Black Lives Matter shoes. This is now the time to be outspoken, represent, and wear it well with pride. She also has, she's a former radio host, soon to restart her radio show because the people want to hear her and they want what she has to give. She has a magazine. She has a lot of things going on. Go ahead and get yourself in tune, in touch with this beautiful girl doing a lot of things. Here on our second half right now, we have a great person. Is he here, Smooth? We have a great person here that is here for you and your pets. My guest is one of the most respected in the field of natural pet care and health, providing important knowledge for you and your pet, as well as discussing his exceptional line of natural pet supplements and products. World-renowned herbalist, holistic veterinary educator, author, CEO, and formulator for animal essentials. I introduce to you Greg Tilford.
Hi, Silvy.
Hey, Greg. How are you today?
I am doing good. It's great to be here. It's great to meet you.
It is great to be here and glad to meet you too. I found a lot of fascinating things about you. And because I think, Greg, that you are super fantastic, why don't you share with some of these, share with me some of your accolades and achievements, if you will.
Well, the accolades and achievements, it's kind of my life is the culmination of a lifelong dream and a love of animals and nature. And it kind of culminated into the realization that natural pet care and taking the best care we possibly can of these companion animals that bring us not just love and incredible lessons of unconditional love and such, but the deeper we get to know them and the better we take care of them on their level, the more we learn about ourselves. I learned about most of this stuff when I actually took some time out of life. I left a law enforcement career from Southern California way
Oh,
back in 1988.
all right.
And I immediately, hate to be stereotyped or, cliched, but I moved into the mountains of Montana with my former wife, and we lived off the grid for 10 years on the side of a mountain, learning about the plants and learning about how the animals interact with them. And we came to realize that, medicinal plants are pretty much the medicine that the earth has put forward for everything that lives here
Well, you know
since
what?
the beginning of time,
Yeah,
and we still manufacture a lot of our drugs from it. So I realized that these are medicines here for the animals, and nobody was really giving them back to the animals. Nobody was really putting a concerted effort into formulating herbal products specifically for companion animals, even though their bodies are more adept to them than ours. And so back in 1994, I started what has now become Animal Essentials, and not just based on information and knowledge of how we can exploit the chemistries of plants, but how we can connect the dots between what the earth provides to us and our animals and how we can use it responsibly and actually give back. And I think we give back a lot through our understanding of animals. That's where all of my life studies and all of my work outside of the manufacturing realm is in bringing people into a closer relationship with their animals. I mean, they're here for a lot more than just entertainment. The more we learn
absolutely.
about them and their systems and their food issues and everything else, the more we learn about ourselves and how to correct a lot of our problems.
That is so true. Do you have pets of your own, by the way?
Yeah, I'm owned by two cats and a dog.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I used to
the
have
cats live
cats.
in the house. I'm sorry.
I used to own a couple cats until they just started just tearing up my couch. The couch, they just would just leak on the couch. I'm like, what did I do wrong to make her mad that she just? I had to get rid of her and the cat to a cousin of mine's because I couldn't do it. But I do have dogs now. But for you, Greg, as a holistic veterinary educator, how is pet nutrition viewed from a holistic point of view?
Well, I'll start this by saying there are better foods available on a commercial level than there ever have been. I mean, we really have a plethora of really fine holistic and natural pet foods out there, but one thing is still missing
Mm-hmm.
is we need to look at nutrition, and this goes beyond animals to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Instead of thinking along the lines of, say, for instance, feeding a dog, we need to feed an individual dog. We need to look at the individual's needs. And the reason I say that is pet foods, just like human foods, the studies that are conducted are based on averages. We look at like 10,000 dogs and we assume that all 10,000 need the same things, the same vitamins, the same herbs, the same foods, the same type of meat, the same components, and that's not true. Every animal's different with a unique, very unique set of needs, just like us. We all have different dietary needs and requirements, different needs for exercise. And so we need to kind of look holistically at the foods we feed, but we need to do it from an understanding of what we're really feeding,
That's
and although we tend to put a lot of time in identifying animals with us, we dress them up, we give them human names, we do all these different things, they're really different than us. And if we base our judgments of what they need nutritionally based on what is appealing to us, for instance, a bag of food that might have all kinds of really pretty pictures of, you know, chops of meat and vegetables falling from the sky and all this other stuff, what's inside the bag might be a lot different. And even though what's different might appeal to our senses, that doesn't smell bad. That might not
mm-hmm.
even taste too bad. Believe it or not, there are human taste testers for pet food to make sure that that food's appealing to the human senses. The problem is that what appeals to us might not be right for them and vice versa. I mean, look at dogs. They eat some pretty disgusting things, right? And what we might perceive as bad might be really good nutrition for them. So holistic animal care begins with understanding and respecting the true natural needs of the individual animal that you're taking care of. It's not a human, and it's not like every other dog, cat, bird, or lizard that's out in the world. You need to understand your individual, just like we need to understand our own bodies to take care of ourselves. Same thing.
That's right. You know, our pets are our babies. It matters, first of all, what we as humans put in our body, and it definitely matters what we put in our pets' bodies, we as pet
Absolutely.
parents. And, you know, you're right. False advertisement is tricky. You know, there's consumers out here that wants that money first. And if that pretty picture is going to get them that money, you know, you have to be the one to educate yourself and know the difference on that, because, you know, 7 out of 10 dogs get cancer due to toxins and artificial chemicals that's found in commercial products here. You know, and
Right.
am I right?
Absolutely. And
And
not
so
only is that true,
yeah.
yes.
So with your products, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I think that they are great products, and they're holistic products. They're natural, all natural products, just like we as humans have to put the right things in our body. But, you know, Animal Essentials is your baby. That's your thing that's out there doing some tremendous, tremendous productive things right now. Tell me about Animal Essentials, if you will.
Yeah, what we do is a full line of supplements, everything but food. And our real claim to fame is with herbal extracts and herbal formulas that are specifically formulated to the needs, the systemic needs and tolerances of dogs and cats and other animals. And basically what these are designed to do, and pretty much everything in our line, and this actually describes what I believe is really the best of what herbal medicine can offer anybody. They're designed to support the body and what the body's already designed to do for itself. That's all herbs do, is they go in and they support different systems to work more efficiently in favor of what the body is trying to do for itself. And what every body in the world, whether it be human or otherwise, is trying to do for itself is stay healthy, to achieve and maintain health. And if it's not getting the tools and the energies that the systems need to achieve that, then there's an imbalance that we often call dis-ease or disease or illness. Herbs kind of stand between what we get in good nutrition and what we might need later down the road in terms of drugs or symptomatic relief. They stand in between. They provide the body with what the body needs in terms of supplemental support in addition to nutrition. They're not necessarily just a nutritional adjunct. Nutrition's important too. But, you know, those 10 years I spent on the mountain, I spent a lot of time watching animals nibble on things that they obviously didn't forage on a normal basis. They just would take select plants, take a few bites, and move on to what they normally eat. And there's a science called zoopharmacognosy, which I find very fascinating, that studies animals and their innate ability to select and dose the plants that they need for specific reasons. And they've shown that these animals are not only able to intuitively select plants and utilize them, but they know how much to eat. They know when to stop. It's really quite amazing. So basically what Animal Essentials and our herbal line of extracts is doing is we're trying to bring nature back to the animals in your house, because they're very disconnected from nature now. It's a long time since, you know, the Pomeranian laying on the couch, it was, you know, a direct relative of a wolf, but he is, you know. And they need a lot of the same things, and we need to bring it home to them.
That's right. I mean, we want our pets to live long like we, you know.
Absolutely.
And it always matters. Listen, if anyone would like to send in any questions, you can do that on Facebook under Silvy Starks in the comment. Phone lines are closed for this interview, but you're more than welcome to log on to QueenSilvyComedy.com, QueenSilvy@comic.com, or comment, and Smooth Tim will get those questions out for Greg Tilford, who is the CEO and formulator for Animal Essentials.
Hey, I've got a couple of questions that were sent in, Greg.
Yes.
Brandy wants to know, can my dog enjoy raisins and grapes in the summer heat?
She got a
You know,
spoiled
That's an
dog.
interesting question. I mean, really.
Wait, say her name
Raisins
again.
and grapes.
Brandy.
Brandy. What did you say, Greg?
Raisins and grapes and brandy?
No, her name is Brandy.
Her name is Brandy, but
Brandy,
can her
She
dog
better not get that
No,
dog drunk.
handle raisins and grapes?
A few
Apparently.
years ago, really scary and interesting things happened with regard to raisins and grapes in dogs specifically is they got sick from eating just raisins, and a few dogs died, and we've never been able to
Wow.
figure out exactly what was on those grapes or in those grapes or in those raisins to cause that problem. Certified
Really?
organic grapes and raisins shouldn't have any toxins whatsoever that would be harmful to a dog or cat. And since that cluster of events happened, I haven't seen it happen again. And it's really interesting. I don't have any hesitation feeding raisins to my dog. I feed them as a treat whenever I'm eating them. I'll give them a couple raisins. I don't put them in their
Organic.
food all the time because it's fairly laxative, but it shouldn't be unhealthy. And just use certified organic. Make sure it's not sprayed with something. Some of the grapes and some of the fruits that come from other countries, South America and such, they're using pesticides
Mm-hmm.
and chemicals down here that were banned years ago in the United States. I mean, and there's no requirement for disclosure across the supply chain, which brings up another whole new issue is the supply chain, whether people know this or not, the supply chain that feeds the dogs, cats, horses, and all the animals in our lives is exactly the same supply chain that feeds us. So when we identify issues of impurities or problems inside the pet food chain, we should look really strongly at that because it's probably affecting us too. These animals are canaries in our coal mine, so to speak. They're dying from the same kind of cancers that we contract on an accelerated basis. So we get to see them and adjust them and learn from them through how many generations, I don't know, before we realize, oh my God, they're suffering from the same things that eventually I will if I don't get my act together here.
That is so true, and it's not a funny case, what I'm going to say, but my aunt once got sick from a fruit salad, and
Mm.
including diarrhea, and it could have been from the pesticides or whatever, or what they inject. I don't know to that extent, that fruit. And no, it wasn't organic, and it does matter to buy organic. And organic costs us a little bit more, but guess what? You're worth it. Your
Right.
pet is worth it as well. Did
Yes.
you have anything else, Smooth?
Yes. One person, Donald, wants to know: is there a supplement for liver and kidney disease?
Great. What is his name
Yeah.
again?
Got to be careful not to
Donald.
Donald.
prescribe something against disease, but there are a lot of herbs that are really supportive of liver function and also protective of the liver. The most famous one, of course, is probably milk thistle seed. Milk thistle has a group of constituents that are collectively known as silymarin. And what those constituents do is they not only serve as an antioxidant to protect liver cells, but they actually help make those liver cells less pervious to certain toxins. The way we found out about that was years ago with poison mushroom ingestion. We've found that they actually will antidote that by blocking the toxin at liver cells. So since that discovery, we found that milk thistle is antioxidant and blocks a lot of different toxins and carcinogens at liver level, which is really important. Dandelion root stimulates liver function. If you've got an issue with problems with sluggish liver function, which we see oftentimes with constipation, chronic skin problems, dry, oily coat, flaky skin, and such, dandelion will stimulate the liver and help the liver work more efficiently at clearing impurities out of the bloodstream and via the urine like it's supposed to do. So that's a good example of the tonic, the strengthening capabilities of herbs that I described earlier, is that they can be used to strengthen the body's normal function. In the case of dandelion, it's strengthening the body's normal function of removing waste from the bloodstream via the urine using the liver. So then, the list goes on. There's a lot of great liver herbs out there. Licorice root's another one. Burdock root's another one. There's a lot of liver supportive herbs out there. It's like nature provided these, with a certain intent and a knowledge, so to speak, an intelligence that we need these things,
You are
And
so
in our
smart.
environment, the liver is probably the most inundated, overworked organ in our bodies today. There's no doubt.
You are so smart, Greg. I bet your cat and dog is so happy at home.
Well, he's not at home. He's sitting right next to me, as a matter of fact, here somewhere. And he's a happy little dog. Yes, he is a very happy dog, which makes me very happy.
So, as a formulator, because you are also a world-renowned formulator, what all do you do?
Well, I connect the dots. I know the plants. I work from a lot of people think that a herbalist must know every plant in the world. Well, we don't. The idea is to become really good and proficient and an expert at just a handful to begin with, and then a couple handfuls. And I work with 3 or 4 handfuls of herbs that I work with on a pretty extensive level. And what I do is I identify clinical needs first, and this is the way I started Animal Essentials, is we go to the holistic veterinarians we work with. I work with about 600 veterinarians around the world now. And we
Wow.
ask them, what can we do to serve you? What do you need to support the issues that you see in your clinic? And when they tell us, I go through my list of herbs, I do some research, I determine what we might try that is safe and might be effective in dogs, cats. I put the formula together, I put it out through the veterinarians requesting it, and we try it out in a clinical sense. If it works, great. If it needs adjustments, we make the adjustments, and then we put it into a broader circulation. So I identify the need, I identify what tools are out there, what natural tools might be available, and then I start formulating from that. I spend about half my time, actually more of my time outside of the office now, just lecturing and speaking. I teach at a lot of the vet schools around the world, as far away as the School of Veterinary Medicine in Japan. I teach continuing education. A lot of the colleges in the United States. I hope to get over to the United Kingdom very soon when I can travel again and talk to the vets there. I
Wow.
find every time I speak to the veterinarians, and especially audiences of conventional veterinarians, those that are just delving into the idea of going holistic or trying natural remedies for the first time, those audiences grow exponentially. Every time I go, it's a bigger audience next time I go. Their interest, veterinarians want to do something to really prevent disease. They want to see results. They don't want to just be chasing symptoms around. It's really good to see.
Well, you're doing a lot of things and a lot of great things worldwide. I mean, I know that this is a passion of yours
It
because,
is.
yeah, because you truly are making a difference. And I mean, you have hundreds of veterinarians that come to you. People go to the veterinarians, and the veterinarians is coming to you because, well, as a team and a collaboration in a whole, you're solving the problem. So tell me, true or false, if you will, Craig, Greg, that pets and humans both have endocannabinoid systems, and that's probably why the things like CBD and your products really work well for pets.
Absolutely. I mean, it blew my mind when I found out that the endocannabinoid system, which exists in every mammalian body on Earth, these little receptors, these little little receptors that are designed to receive cannabinoids from outside of the body, while it also produces cannabinoids from inside the body. The body produces some of its own. But what blew my mind is that this system, this entire system, which modulates all these different functions in the body, wasn't discovered until 1989.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a fairly new discovery out of Israel, and it raises some real serious questions, especially in the United States, of how we've been depriving our bodies and our animals' bodies of these really important components for so many years under prohibition. And especially when we talk about industrial hemp and cannabis that is grown without THC, doesn't even have a psychotropic effect, but it's been caught into the same, you know, paradigm as recreational marijuana. It's really unfortunate because what science is showing is we've been depriving our body of what it needs for a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
over 75 years in the
Mm-hmm.
United States alone.
Mm-hmm.
Those cannabinoids exist in other plants too. I mean, even echinacea contains cannabinoids. Hops, which is closely related to cannabis, contains cannabinoids, but we don't get enough from outside sources, and our bodies can't produce enough. So it's a really, I look at cannabis now, I look at CBD from a whole plant perspective, that it's really a good nutritional adjunct. I'm juicing it right now. I juice the whole plant. I have a house in Oregon, and we're allowed to grow 2 plants, whether it's medicinal or CBD or whatever. I grow a CBD plant, and my wife, Marcy, she juices it whenever I trim the sides, and we drink cannabis juice, and it feels great. It's full of omega-3 fatty acids. It's full of vitamins and minerals. It's an amazing plant, and I hope that the
Absolutely.
world can get over its problems with
Right.
the,
And
the
there are
stigmas
some
attached to.
that still with that controversy argument about CBD oils and cannabis, marijuana, and all of that things like that. And true enough, all CBD products, and including marijuana, is not the same. They
There's a
have
difference, folks.
the
There's
bad
a
stuff is
difference.
out there, in stores. You can go to get your oil changed, and they got a rack of CBD oil also for sale. So you have to do your
Absolutely.
homework. And you have to know exactly what it is that you're getting. But as a formulator, Greg, when have you ran into some veterinarians that don't like these products for their dogs, like they don't believe in
Oh,
CBD
absolutely.
or any of these
Yeah.
products?
Yeah, there's just like everything else. I mean, there's an audience of people that just believe it's bad per se because to them it's just marijuana, you know. But the biggest problem, Sylvie, with CBD out there right now, and you kind of hit it on the nose when you said you go in to get your oil change and you find CBD products on the shelf.
Right.
Not only are we inundated with this wave of sensationalism, but in the midst of this giant multi-billion-dollar CBD industry, there's no regulation and there's no quality control.
Right.
So, the CBD companies, there's no disclosure requirements, for instance, of what chemicals might be used in the extraction process. There's
Mm,
not even any requirement for them to tell you what that process is.
mm-hmm.
So, where I differ and the herbalists I work with differently is to me, cannabis is an amazing herb and it does amazing things, but it's not a panacea. It's not a cure all like a lot of people see it as. It's marketed that way. It's not. And it's a plant. So I treat it like every other plant and I treat it with the same quality considerations that I do everything else that goes into the animal essentials line. We do a super a super hemp product, and quality control is maintained on those plants from the moment they are put into the ground as certified, literally registered seed. And throughout every stage of, if it's processed through the manufacturer, we don't use any solvents, there's CO2 extraction. But the point is that I'm manufacturing my CBD products by the same pharmaceutical standards that are required for everything else that I do in herbal products. We manufacture everything by the same standards, the FDA standards that you would expect from over-the-counter drugs in the United States. So it's very meticulous. There's a lot of record keeping. There's a lot of cross analytic. And by the time it gets a label on it, I can guarantee everything that's in that bottle, and I'm fully transparent about it. We need something in this whole CBD realm to where either the industry needs to step up and self-regulate itself and create these standards,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody else needs to, because quite frankly, you're right. The consumer doesn't know what they're buying unless they can bank full confidence on the company they're buying from, unless they get the transparency they need to satisfy those questions, they don't know what they're buying. And I
Hmm.
guarantee you that there are some things out there and there's some residues in a lot of those products like benzene and really nasty stuff that have been used to extract it are not good for us. It shouldn't be there. So we've got a ways to go,
I agree.
CBD market for sure.
Greg, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is there that big a difference between if I go to the grocery store for my dog, that bag of Gravy Train or the bag of Nature's Recipe?
There's always a difference, I mean,
And why should I be concerned?
you should be concerned with, first of all, look at the product label. There's two levels of concern with dog food and cat food product labels. You look at that little panel on the side, it will tell you how much protein, how much crude fat, all that stuff that's required. Well, if you compare the protein content with what's actually in the ingredient list in the bag, it might not jive up so good. For instance, if you see soy meal anywhere in the top five, or any kind of protein-rich legume in the top five ingredients of that food, that is there for the purpose of bringing up that protein number on the side of the pet food.
Hmm.
The problem with that is that carnivores do not metabolize plant proteins like we do, and oftentimes it creates more byproduct and systemic waste than good. It goes right through the body, or it creates a systemic problem. It's one of the reasons why we have this issue that nobody can identify with dilated cardiac myopathy in dogs. There's been like 500 and 600 dogs that have died unexpectedly, and they thought it was grain-free diets, and then they thought it was legumes. They don't know. The point is that we don't know what we're feeding because the grade of ingredients is not good. And um, if it costs, if it's on the supermarket shelf and it's low price, then you're probably getting what you pay for. If it has any kind of byproducts, wheat metallings or grains in the first top 5 ingredients. Any kind of byproduct, you should avoid it. It should only list whole meat, for instance, turkey or beef or fish as the first primary ingredients, or meat with water sufficient for processing, that's fine. But ingredients are really important. And, we're getting to a place in the pet industry where the reputation of the brands is it's outstanding. I mean, it's making it much easier for the pet owner to buy a good quality food. You go to a natural store that knows what they're selling, go to an independent reseller that knows what they're selling and can educate you about the types of food. But don't walk into a pet store and walk in to buy a bag of food with the thought in mind that, oh, if I find what he or she likes, I can feed it for the rest of their life. And the reason I say that is that's the way I was raised. I was raised listening to these ridiculous commercials that said, don't change your dog's food because it will create digestive upset. He needs to eat it all the time. That's like you or me eating nothing but a bowl of total cereal with milk on it, with no milk on it every day, because it has 100% of the vitamins and minerals on the label, and expect to maintain good health, right? It won't happen. They need diversity. You need to change it up. Diversity is the key. You got to have a different food, and so their body can utilize and take what it can from it.
So are raw foods better? Raw foods better than the canned foods and
or dry foods?
Yeah, and the kibbles, yeah.
Certainly can be, and here's my play on raw food is, first, you don't see wolves and you don't see mountain lions sitting by the road cooking their dinner, right? They eat raw, right? And in my mind, every carnivore on earth should be at least given the opportunity to try eating a raw food diet, because if they do well on it, they do so well on it, it's amazing. I mean, you see behavioral changes, you see immediate changes in energy, you see changes in just their vibrance. Their coat is shinier and they're healthier, and it's not for every dog or cat, because we've evolved them away from their natural ways to a large degree. So it doesn't work for everybody, but you should get as close to raw and natural as you can in what you feed your pet. If it has to be cooked or home prepared cooked, that's the next step. But every carnivore on earth deserves the opportunity, for sure. That's what they're designed for.
That's interesting. So when it comes to supplements, adults, there are adults that take supplements, and they are supplements, the right type of supplements for our pets. Tell me about your supplements.
Again, all of our supplements are made with, to the highest degree of quality that exists in any industry. I mean, we do everything to human quality standards. Every ingredient we use is a human grade ingredient. All of our manufacturing, all of our formulating, all of our analytic, everything is done in the United States. What few ingredients that do come from overseas are third-party analyzed in the United States before they go into our products. So it's all about quality, and it's all about matching the needs of companion animals and what they need in their everyday life. To me, supplements replaces a crystal ball. I alluded earlier, I was talking earlier about how no two animals are alike, and that means that we don't know how much of the food we're feeding is actually, it may be in the food, the quality of the food might be really good, the ingredients might be excellent, but we don't know how well that individual is utilizing those ingredients, because every individual is different. So when we add something like digestive enzymes or an antioxidant or a probiotic supplement or a prebiotic supplement that feeds the digestive flora in the gut, we're supporting the digestion of that food, and we're giving the body every opportunity we possibly can to utilize the components of that food more effectively. And there's my watchdog out there. And if you're spending a lot of money on a bag of food or canned food or on raw diets, it makes sense to supplement it with supplements that will help optimize the absorption and the utilization of that food. You're going to save money in the end, because you're going to be feeding less if you're using probiotics and prebiotics and digestive enzymes. So all of our supplements are designed quality, and transparency. We do everything not just for that, but also with the earth in mind, sustainability. And it's getting harder and harder with packaging needs and, maintaining the pharmaceutical standards. It's really a challenge, but, we're on a mission to enhance the quality of life in companion animals, the people that take care of them, and in the communities that support them. We want all of this to flow through in a deeper understanding of what holistic health is, not just for their animals, but holistic health. And so quality is right at the top of everything. It's really important. And transparency to the source. Where does it come from? Where do these herbs come from? Are we mowing down a rainforest, or are they being certified organically grown? We're sensitive to all of that. I in my dream world, I want to be able to tell my consumers one day that I know I've stood in the field where every herb I use grows, and I've touched it before it's harvested. Of course, that's not possible because they come from around the United States, and it's hard to be at the right place in the right time. But that's the level of quality and accountability to the source that we strive for at Animal Essentials.
Well, Animal Essentials has it going on with an array of products, supplements, and as well as this nice travel. Okay, and it came this morning. I woke up to the box at the door, so I'm glad it came in time for me to talk about it as well as show these natural pet travel kits. Now I have them displayed for anyone. If you would like to see them, you can go to Facebook, as we're currently going live on Facebook under Silvy Starks, and you can continue to spread the word because yes, there's more here at www.fbrn.us. But Greg, tell me about this natural pet travel kit that you have here that is very important for our dogs because they have anxieties and they go through things and they can't just come out and tell you. You have to know and have the remedy for that. And I think this is a great remedy for this. And first of all, Greg, hold on. Before you do, if anyone has not logged on to QueenSilvyComedy.com and signed up for the free Queen Silvy Show Friends Club, where we give away these gifts and more, you need to do that because that's how you're going to get aboard and get one of these I was going to say delicious. I was going to say delicious because I read this pack and it said coconut carrot cake, and I was like,
is that why you slapped my hand when I started opening up that bag? I was going to munch on that earlier, Greg.
Have you tasted one of those yet?
No, not yet. Humans can eat these as
they're
well.
all human grade. Everything here is human grade. So what you'll experience with that is a tiny little biscotti. It tastes really delicious. There's no wheat flour. It's all coconut flour,
Wow.
all natural, and it's actually made for humans. And we had them cut down to crouton size. And
Wow.
the beauty of those
That's
little
exactly what they
crouton-sized
look like.
is they will absorb up to 20 drops of the tincture that's in this kit.
Okay, so
So
there's
they make a really good delivery system
Okay,
for each of the tinctures in the kit.
okay, so there are 3 tinctures that is here in the kit. Tell me about the
Right.
daily digestion.
Okay, so the daily digestion is a combination of fennel seed, peppermint, chamomile, and ginger. And all those herbs together not only help freshen the breath and help keep the mouth clean and refreshed, but they also help with digestion. They help with upset stomach. They help with travel sickness. They just help calm the stomach, the nerves in the stomach. There's a lot of calming agents in the herbal world, and some have specific affinities. And in this formula, it has a special way of calming just the stomach down and reducing gas and flatulence and belching and et cetera for that drive
So
wherever you're going.
okay, you have
Yeah.
also the Tranquility Blend.
The Tranquility Blend is a synergistic blend of 4 different herbs. It's got valerian root, it's got skullcap, it's got oat flour, the flowering tops of oat, not the stuff we eat for breakfast, and passion flower. And all of those herbs are calming agents to help take the nervous edge off. It doesn't sedate, it doesn't put an animal to sleep, and it's very, very safe to dose. You can't overdose on the stuff, but it will take the nervous edge off. And if you can feed that in advance of an exciting event like a thunderstorm or a trip to the groomer or something, 20 minutes in advance and every 20 minutes for up to an hour or two, you'll see just a mild calming effect, and it will help Rover or the cat just take the edge off and relax a little bit more.
So is these just for the dogs and cats? Well, if someone has a guinea pig or some other type of animal or something, is that good for them as well?
Yeah, I don't have it labeled for other animals, but the vets I work with are using these products for everything from dogs, cats, up to horses, mules, goats,
Wow.
and all the way down to birds, guinea pigs. I talked with one of my exotic vets a while back that was using olive leaf extract that we do to help getting parasites off of a pet centipede.
Wow.
So,
That's
doesn't
great.
sound-
And the
That's great.
third
So
one
it's
is the
used-
super immune.
Wait, did he say pet centipede?
A pet centipede, yes. A 9-inch
Okay.
pet
Surprise.
centipede.
I've never tried that one. I've been pretty exotic, but that's a little bit.
Now, you think about the watchdog capability of that. You let a cage of those go in your business at night. Hey, put them in the cash drawer.
Oh yeah,
Might work.
I might freak out the
Okay.
freaking guy
Yeah,
out.
right. Freak out, right. Super immune formula is designed to stimulate and support the immune system under stress. A lot of people realize, and a lot of people don't, that when we are under stress, and you see how stressed out dogs and cats get on
Oh,
a car
yes.
ride or on vacations, your immunity, it takes an impact. It's hard to keep your immune system up to its optimum best when you're under that kind of stress. So this formula contains herbs that we know of as adaptogens. And what adaptogens do is they help the body respond more favorably and more quickly to stressful stimuli, whether it's physical or non-physical. It helps the immune system adjust, and it offers immune support during those times.
Wow. I'm going to call you Doctor Greg Tilford, because really this is life saving, and it's the solution for a lot of people who have issues and don't understand, or is not giving the right thing for the right problem. Because with anything, you don't want to cover it. You want to kind of like solve and get to the point. And these,
Absolutely.
by the way, also have how many drops that you are to give your pet based on their weight. So all that is included in this natural pet travel kit that you can find this and more. Tell me about some of the other products that we can find on your site.
Well, we've got everything from products like our detox blend, which is designed to, on a daily basis, it's designed as a long-term liver support remedy for animals with chronic liver problems, like subclinical signs that you'll see, again, dandruff and shedding and things like that. They might be eating a really good food, but they're still having those issues, which suggests they just got sluggish liver function. So detox blend. We got several different levels of liver support formulas. We have body cleanse, which is a stronger detox formula that would be used for 2 weeks to kickstart a detox program. We've got about 70 different SKUs of products out there. We've got a green alternative powder formula that's a blend of different green herbs, stinging nettle,
Wow.
um, spirulina, which is an algae, and various others to add antioxidants to the mix, because a lot of the pet foods out there just really lack green foods, chlorophyll, antioxidants that are in a form that carnivores can actually utilize and digest and utilize. So that's another one we have. We have calcium supplements for people that we have a seaweed calcium supplement for people that are feeding a raw diet to help balance calcium. We have one of our best products is called Sea Dent, which is a combination of kelp and 5 different enzymes that work to knock down plaque in the mouth, on the teeth, that can be fed in a very small dose every day on the food to help knock down dental plaque. So we've got a pretty comprehensive line, and you can visit those. Of course, you can see the whole line pretty much, except for the single extracts, on www.animalessentials.com. But we were also launching into the UK right now too. So,
Yes.
and into Europe. So if you can find us at animalessentials.eu. And we're expanding our list of offerings in Europe as we understand, what we're allowed to market there. But we're moving there in a pretty aggressive manner.
That's great.
And you're going to hear more from me over across the pond from the U.S.
That's
sure.
great. So listen, this is online, Animal Essentials online. But if you've been in Montana and Oregon, what about Colorado? Do you have like a store in one of those states that is legal for the pets?
No, we don't. We don't market directly through our own stores. We do sell off the website, but we also
Okay.
distribute to stores, about 4,000 stores around the United States and in Europe and Asia.
That
So
is great.
we're pretty well distributed out there.
That is
Of
great.
course, with COVID, we're more online and digital than ever before, and but we're findable out there for sure.
That is great. I didn't receive the latest book. What do you have? 5 books out now?
Yes, I call it 4.5. One is more of a booklet, but yes, Herbs for Pets is the most notable one. It's considered a gold standard for natural animal care. I wrote that with my former wife back in 1999, and it's been a great resource for everybody. I highly, of course, recommend my book, Herbs for Pets, and You can find it online or you can buy it directly from our website as well. I also have a blog called Your Vital Pet, or I'm sorry, a podcast called Your Vital Pet, which is you can find that on Buzzsprout or Spotify or your favorite channel as well.
I love it. I love all that you're doing. I really do, because you're serving as an example also for some adults. Because if adults is going to say, well, you know what, he's making sense, I'm going to do this for my dog. You also taught that adult a lesson too, because there's things that they can change in their diet as well. I'm going to put in that extra money and buy it for my dog. I may as well put in the extra money, and we all around can be healthy. Put the natural things in. I had a guest on. What did she say? Food by God, for the body by God. And she stands by that, and natural products. And, you know, hey, I stand by that as well. But let me, to not throw you off any, I do mean you are the doctor. So have you heard of eye ulcers for dogs?
Yeah, lesions of the eyes. There's several different kinds.
What do you have that can be helpful for that, for a dog? A boxer, let's say a boxer, because they have boxer ulcers.
Well, you need to get some lubricating eye drops probably from your vet for that. And I'm not a doctor. I mean, I teach doctors all over the world. I signed their diplomas, but I'm not allowed to have a diploma. It's really weird.
Right.
But in addition, in addition to that, we make a product called Eye Defense. And that product was originally formulated for veterinarians I work with in Japan, because in Japan, you know, they love their small dogs. I mean, they love their small dogs. I mean, they've got dog parks on top of buildings in Japan. They've got, you know, sections of grass in hallways for their dogs. They just adore them. But with the air pollution, they often have a lot of problems with their eyes. They end up with protein buildups and lesions on their eyes and macular degeneration and all kinds of things. And so I formulated this product using bilberry and eyebright herb. And basically, they're antioxidants that help support eye function and help maintain proper eye function. And it doesn't cure the problem, but it helps slow the progression and it helps prevent those issues. You know, again, it's a good example of those special needs by animals that have exposure to those things. They can't get those kind of needs traditionally just through food. They need it from somewhere else, and they don't have the intuitive ability nor the access to those herbs on their own. So that's what we try to fill. So eye defense for those kind of eye problems, and see your vet for some eye drops to make things more comfortable. Oftentimes they'll prescribe an anti-proteolytic enzyme or proteolytic enzyme for knocking down protein buildups and such in eye drops, but see your vet for that.
So it can be either environmental and or genetic, and once it's there, you really can't do much except try to slow it down. Did I hear that
Well, you
right?
can slow it down, but you know, just because it's environmental and genetic doesn't mean, let's just look at the genetic side. I mean, because oftentimes people slam the door shut on the possibilities, therapeutic possibilities, just say, it's genetic, what can I do? Well, the body is already trying to work in other ways to support or circumvent that problem that is a genetic anomaly in the body, right? If there's something not functioning correctly, the body will naturally try to compensate by utilizing other systems or other ways to maintain whatever function is impaired. Herbs can be used to support that function, to make those functions stronger and more efficient for the body. So even though there's a genetic predisposition or a genetic disease, doesn't mean you can't support the rest of the body around that problem and improve the quality of life.
Absolutely. I appreciate that advice that you've done there. So before you go, let me ask you, because, you know, they're dealing with the COVID as humans, but our pets are as well. What is your advice for social distancing when it comes to our pets?
Well, right now there is no evidence to show that dogs or cats can transmit COVID to us. It's obvious that dogs can contract COVID. We haven't seen any dogs die directly from COVID. The first dog that was diagnosed with COVID recently probably died of cancer, didn't die from the COVID. The biggest thing that I see with the COVID animal relationship and animals and people is pay attention to what we're talking about here. And if you're thinking about issues relative to your animal's health and what he may be eating, if you look at the horrors of what might be in the food, like euthanized animals and you know, roadkill, and there's no limit to what can be put into bad pet food. Bear in mind that most of what we're learning about COVID stems from the way we've been behaving the rest of all of our lives, and we're pushing bad behaviors upon our animals with those kind of foods. What we're learning about COVID, the canary in the coal mine thing we were talking about earlier, what we're
Mm-hmm.
learning about COVID is the people that are most susceptible to it are people that are unhealthy by virtue of our human chronic behaviors. Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, all of these things are really big mortality factors in the COVID thing. And, if you can't, I always tell my audiences, and this is true because when we think of our dogs, we think of our cats, we think with our hearts instead of our minds, and we do something about it. If you can't understand the issue of going more global in your approach of health, starting with air pollution, air quality, the foods we eat, the way it's manufactured, the microbiome that supports all of us, inside and outside, it's all shared. And, animals are here to just, hey, take care of me and listen to how you're doing it because it's going to help take care of you. And if we take better care of ourselves and our children, COVID won't have a fatal foothold in everything that it touches.
Absolutely.
I firmly believe that the reason why we're seeing these numbers and, 1.4% or, the chances of contracting COVID and dying is because it's it's picking out people that are susceptible. We need to be less susceptible and do something about it.
Well, everybody needs to follow you and learn a few things. And I appreciate you seriously, Greg, for taking the time and being on the show
Oh, it's
and
a
spreading
pleasure.
your knowledge as well as these great natural pet travel kits. Tell everybody how you can be followed on social media and where they can go to obtain their own travel kits as well as some of the supplements and great products that you have for Animal Essentials.
You can find us easily on Facebook. Just punch in the Animal Essentials and you'll find our Facebook page. You can also find me, Greg Tilford, on Facebook, as well as my podcast, Your Vital Pet, your favorite browser. You can find us at our website, www.animalessentials.com or animalessentials.eu. And, right now I'm busy producing a whole slew of educational free webinars and seminars to help educate people about all these things in these times. We're sitting at home, we've got our dog, we've got our cat in our lap. It's time to sit and learn some things. So I'm going to make an effort to get as much information out to you as I possibly can in weeks to come. So tune in and
That'll
be
be
part.
great.
I look
You
forward.
know, inform me on anything that you're doing. I'd love to also share that out to the world. And if you are a talent and
Awesome.
you'd love to be on the Queen Sylvie show, we'd love to have you. Hit me up at queensylvie@comic.com. Follow the webpage, queensylviecomedy.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram under Sylvie Starks or Queen Sylvie. And unfortunately, I don't twerk, Twitter, or tweet. So,
And you can follow me, Tim McGiffin, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I do tweet a little bit.
yeah,
Sometimes
know.
I twerk.
I
But in
know.
any regards, if you'd like to be a guest on our show again, hit us up, queensylvie@comic.com.
That is right
So
on.
until next week, same Queen time, same Queen station.
Go out and enjoy your day and continue to make it a terrific Tuesday. Greg, I thank you very much for being on the show. I will
Thank
be in
you.
touch with you. I also thank Lioness Tulane for coming on the show. And listen, you need to go on to her store, her online store, 7,000 Hours Art Store, and get yourself some of the Retro 7,000. I like the name. I even like saying Retro 7,000 and some BLM 7s, baby. Those are Black Lives Matter shoes. Got it going on. Great products. She has it going on. If you need media work, she's the one to go to. And I thank you. Go on out and enjoy your day. And until next week, like Smooth said, holla.
Yeah, let's get out of here with a little bit of Miguel Montalban out of Spain. He's a busker out of Spain. Y'all don't know nothing about busking.
Yes, we do.
Here we go, Little Wayne.
Thank you, Sylvie.
Thank you. You're very welcome.